master file, which you will need to use for your second essay assignment in English 120. Later on in the course, I'll show you some other databases, I'll show you our book system, and more ways to locate and evaluate research. One important aspect of using a database in our college library is that you don't have to worry about finding fake news or disinformation, something we will discuss more next week. Librarians check all of the contents in their systems to ensure they're reputable and academically appropriate. The way that we start is from the Napa Valley College homepage. Go to the top and click Library. We'll come back to this library landing page in another video and explore other aspects of this page, although I do want to direct you to student services, because if you click here, you'll see information on loaner laptops and loaner hotspots, and even how to make an appointment with a librarian. So do know and click on this to see what services are available to you. But for our purposes, for the essay and for this video, we're focusing on databases. So A to Z databases, click on this icon. I'm asking you for Essay 2 to use a particular database called Masterfile, and so we can find it using an A to Z menu. So if we click on M for Masterfile, we'll actually see that it's right up here on the top. So we're going to go right into that. Do notice there's a popular database list here. We'll get to looking at some other databases in the future. Also, as you scroll down, you can see information about accessing the New York Times, which I just want to mention because we use several New York Times articles in our class. And as a student, you actually can sign up for a free subscription. So here's some information on that if you're interested. Going back up to the top, I'm going to click on Masterfile. Now, if you're working from home, before you get to this page, you might be prompted to log in with your NVC credentials like you do for Canvas. So you would just enter in that username and password that you always use. These databases cost money to use, but as a student at Napa Valley College, the college pays for it. So you don't need to have your own account. You just use your login for Canvas so that you can access it for free. This particular page is a little tricky because it's asking us to choose again the database that we want to use. So the fastest way is to deselect everything and then to scroll down until you see Masterfile complete and click on that. And that will take you to the search page. So here's where you're going to enter in some search terms, and you really want to enter in more than one term. So for Essay 2, you're either writing about immigration, something related to immigration, or you're writing about reparations, something related to reparations for Black Americans. So you can start typing in some terms and see what happens. I'm going to actually just explore a different topic as a demonstration. So earlier in the semester, we read about education. I want to learn more about education, and I want to actually learn more about grades. Now notice when I type in the word education, it starts to give me a drop-down menu where it auto-populates. And that is useful to notice because Masterfile and other library databases do not work like Google. They have a tagging system, and so using the right tags is how you'll get to the information that you're looking for, and we kind of have to sometimes figure out what those tags are. So this auto-populating of terms here can be helpful to figure out what specific way this system wants you to use some terms. I'm looking for grades, so I'm going to see as I continue to write if grades show up. I'm not seeing that. So maybe I might type in grades and see what comes up, because probably some things will come up. I also might try to figure out what word is more commonly used in the system. And I happen to know another word for grades is assessment, and I can see that auto-populates. So I'm going to go with that. Click search. Now, what shows up here are possible sources I might want to look at in the middle. On the left-hand side, I have the option to put some more limits on my search. And I actually want to limit my search to full text, because otherwise I'm going to see some stuff that I can't actually read the full article, and that's just going to annoy me. So I'm going to click full text so it gets rid of all of that kind of stuff. And then I'm also going to target perhaps magazines, or I might target newspapers. And I suggest that you do this for this essay assignment that we're working on, because these tend to be shorter articles that are written more for the general public. Once you start getting into academic journals, those things can sometimes be written for people working on a PhD who have a high level degree. And so you might probably not want to read those. They also tend to be longer. So you can limit to magazines or newspapers so that you can get a sense of the conversation. And again, you're finding one source from here to use as support for your paper. I think I'll click on magazines. Still lots of choices. So you can see there's still a lot of things for me to choose from. And in fact, I might want to narrow my search terms a little bit more to higher education so that I weed out anything that's for, K through 12, which is not necessarily what I'm interested in. And then next, I'm just looking for something that interests me. So I'm going to look at titles. These are titles of articles. I'm also going to look at titles of the actual journal or magazine to see if I recognize one, or if there's one that, I like what it's focused on. I also might pay attention to how long something is. So I don't necessarily want to read something that's 10 pages or more. So I'll notice if something is 6 pages or less, and that can help me make a decision too. Once I see something interesting to me, then I can find out a little bit more about that source. And I did see something that I thought was interesting. Where did it go? Here it is. I'm interested in this idea of kind of closing the achievement gap. So I'm going to click on this title to see more about this source. I'm not going to read it yet. I'm going to click on the title, and it's going to give me some more information about it. It's going to give me some more terms to work with. So that's interesting, because if I don't like what I'm seeing in my first set of search terms, I could try different terms to get what I'm looking for. An abstract here is like a little summary of what the article's about, so I can get a sense of whether it's something I want to read. And then as I scroll down, I actually get to the article. I might also see on the left a PDF of the article as well, so you can read in different forms. So I like this article. I think it's something I want to consider, although I don't know. I might want to try to find a couple and then see which one I like best. So what I tend to do when I'm looking for a source is, if I see something that has potential, I'll email it to myself. So I'm going to click email on the right-hand side here. There's all these tools. I'm going to enter in my personal email here. And then I'm also going to send myself the citation information for it. And I have the option to do that by clicking this little button, citation format. And of course, we use MLA. So you can select that from the drop down here and then send it to yourself, and it will send you the article and it will send you the citation that you need later for that article. So I like to send myself a few things, and then I can make decisions later. I don't always want to read things while I'm searching. Sometimes I just want to search and then do the reading later, and I've given myself some options. So there are other tools here on the right. I can print. I just showed you email. I can save it to my computer or my flash drive. I can click this cite button and just pull a citation if I want to save that on maybe a Word document for later. So I can scroll down and find MLA and know that this is what I'm going to want to put on my works cited page for my essay. If I use this source, this is what I'm going to want to put on that works cited page. So I'm going to save this somehow, either in a Word document or I emailed the article to myself. So it emailed this to me as well when it emailed me the article. And then there's one more button that might be good to know, which is this permalink button. So if you wanted to send your teacher a link to the article so they could check it for you to see if, it was okay, you would want to send them this permalink, not the URL at the tippy top of your screen, because someone can't access through that URL. They need this link in order to then get taken to the article. So if you have a teacher who wants to check a source, or if you're asking a teacher or a tutor, hey, can you check this source for me? That's the link that you want to send. So for our essay, we're using this master file database. You're choosing one article from it, and you're going to use a piece of evidence or two from that article. And we're using this opportunity to get used to library databases and a little bit of how they work. You can see from this description of Masterfile that it is multidisciplinary. So it's a great database for researching all sorts of topics and all sorts of disciplines, and it pulls from a lot of publications. And in particular, it also has a lot of newspaper and magazines as the focus, and not as many of those academic journals, which for our case, it's better that we're not really looking at those yet. So this is a really good database to get to know, and there's lots of great tools, as I showed you too, to help you save and get the citation information that you need when you're doing some library research.